Joint service members to get additional pay raise. Body of missing American tourist found. And oil and gas consultant barred from future World Bank projects. I am Noriko Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. More than 8,000 members of the joint services will benefit from wage increases, which will be in addition to the 8% salary increase announced recently for public servants. The changes will take effect next January, in addition to the already announced compensation hikes. Police, from constable to assistant commissioner, would enjoy salary increases ranging from 8% in some cases to 21.7% in the case of deputy superintendents. The bulk of positions will see their pay increase by 8%. Several members of the Guyana Fire Service will also enjoy compensation increases, with an additional 8% added to their earnings beginning in the new year. Meanwhile, there were no announcements made for the prison service or CANU agents. The authorities have discovered the remains of American tourist Tom Costin Jr., who went missing after a fishing excursion in the Rupununi, Region 9 of Patakutu, Essequibo. Commander Raphael Rose told the media that the body is now being taken to Letom. The American tourist went missing on Tuesday while fishing in the Rupununi River. He was in a boat with several other tourists when the boat capsized. Georgetown Public Hospital has stated that patients with kidney stones can now have them removed via laser therapy rather than traditional surgery. The hospital purchased a laser lithotripsy for more than 25 million Ghana dollars. According to the hospital, employing laser lithotripsy offers a full, non-invasive method, which means no incision is necessary to treat patients with kidney stones who previously required significant surgery. The service is provided free of charge for the first time in the public healthcare sector in Guyana. David Utah and Patrick Ross have been acquitted of the 2016 murder of Gafour's manager Terry Lacan. Terry Lacan was discovered dead with a rope around his neck in his Herstelling East Bank Demerara home. The two were released when Judge Simone Morris Ramlaw supported their respective attorneys' no-case submissions. In the case of Utah, the judge dismissed their caution statement, ruling that its absence rendered the evidence weak, despite the fact that the state relied on at least 3 additional witnesses to a 59 million Ghana dollar water supply system has been installed in the community of Isseneru, Region 7, giving the area its first access to potable water. The system went live on Tuesday. There was previously no operational water supply system in the village, which has a population of over 500 people. As a result, residents would use water from the Mazaruni River, as well as rainwater harvesting. The new system delivers water to all central area residents, as well as public institutions such as schools and the health center. 2 community service officers were also trained in water operation and maintenance to assist with the system's management.
You're a hard-working truck owner. That's why you need only quality parts for your truck. But you might be asking, Noriko, now how will I ever afford them? Well, my friend, you need to go to Powered Automotive. They stock parts from Mack, International, Bedford TM, and all models of Cummins engines. Treat your truck right. Visit them at lot 491 EE Eccles, or call or WhatsApp them on telephone number 6970171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. You can multiply your cash by selling Digicel Top-Up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Book a Make Top-Up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info.
According to the second Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing National Risk Assessment, gold smuggling is one of the most serious money laundering concerns in Ghana. The Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorism Financing National Coordinating Committee, that's a mouthful, prepared the report. Attorney General Anil Nandalal praised its efforts. According to the NRA, the overall level of the money laundering threat in Guyana is medium-high, owing to the substantial estimated amount of the proceeds of crime produced from predicate offenses committed in the nation and the paucity of money laundering convictions over the years. So basically, there's too much crime and not enough prosecution in order for them to feel comfortable with the amount of money laundering that is currently going on in Guyana. On Wednesday, 28-year-old Courtney Williams of Kwakwani Airstrip in Upper Berbice River was remanded to prison for the murder of Joshua Daniels, a worker from New Amsterdam, Berbice. Williams was not required to enter a plea and was remanded to prison until January 5, 2023. Yesterday, 35-year-old pedestrian Parmanan Budu was fatally struck by a car along the Friendship Public Road, Quarantine, Berbice. The driver was identified by police as an 18-year-old male of Alness Village, Quarantine. It is alleged that Boodoo was knocked down while crossing the road immediately after he exited a vehicle that was parked on the side of the road. The driver took Boodoo to the hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. However, there is no word yet on the fate of the driver. The government has launched an initiative to develop a solid cybersecurity system that would guard against cyber attacks. Representatives from several government departments have convened for a workshop to improve their ability to secure and safeguard the nation's cyber assets, with help from the United Kingdom. This session drew roughly 100 people who will be educated on national and transnational cyber hazards and how they can help improve the security and resilience of the nation's essential national infrastructure. Now for today's oil update. An international contractor who was recently barred from the World Bank for 3 years for unethical actions in Guyana was in fact ejected from the project soon after the PPP took office. This follows reports that consultant Carlos Bernian Diaz was the one in question. On January 31st, 2020, the previous government hired Diaz as a natural gas negotiation specialist. He was entrusted with giving technical assistance to the then Department of Energy's natural gas negotiations. Diaz allegedly solicited kickbacks from numerous consulting firms while working on the Petroleum Governance and Management Project in Guyana, according to the World Bank. Diaz is no longer eligible to participate in World Bank-funded projects or activities again for the next 3 years.
As an independent online news entity, being politically objective can cost you a lot of money in lost sponsorship opportunities. That's because most local companies are often too scared to associate themselves with a news entity that is uncompromising with the truth. We do appreciate our sponsors, as their support is what has allowed us to maintain our integrity without fear and remain dedicated to you, our viewers. Every night, thousands of viewers rely on Uncut News because they are tired of the biased and poorly presented mainstream media in Guyana. But to truly compete, we need your help to grow Uncut News from being the most watched online news to the most watched news in Guyana, period. Help us by becoming a monthly subscriber today. There are special rewards at every subscription level, including your name in the credits, personalized gifts, and more. Your monthly contribution helps us to stay independent by spending less time worrying about paying the bills and more time on keeping you informed. So click the link in the description of this video and become a subscriber today.
It's November, which means it's officially robbery season. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. These people even have drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest. Now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's Car of the Week. Currently on sale is this 2016 Toyota Crown Athlete. It comes with Bluetooth mudrooms, no tires, TV, CD, stereo fog lamps, back camera, and much, much more. Buy cars for $9.95 million, or pay as low as $1.99 million down with around $170,000 monthly, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 6620844 for more info. Or visit their showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them the Rico sent you for this sweet deal.
Now for our Uncut News Views Poll Question of the Day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Last night, I asked about the healthcare system and what can be done to try to prevent all these senseless deaths. Our Seaview Farm says there seems to be a batch of healthcare workers who are neglectful, and patients are paying for it with their lives. The Commissioner of Health needs to step up and tell the public what is really happening at GPHC. I agree. Jay Jairam says we need to have better trained medical personnel and people who have a real interest to care for patients. Crazy Richie says, I know this might sound tough, but because it is free medical care, these things are expected. The sad thing is that most of the doctors and nurses working there are also working at the private hospitals and give better care, which shows they can. The only way to decrease this from happening is to start holding the professionals accountable, as the private hospitals will. Not because a person is not paying means your penalty should be less if you fail to properly execute your job. Indeed, and in fact I'd argue that since this is a government job, the punishment should be even harsher. But hey, that's just me. And finally, Sad Songs, Slowed, says, them doctor need more training, especially them young ones. Some of them in Port Morant Hospital just give people the wrong medication. If what you're saying is true, then we are truly in the throes of a medical crisis in this nation. Now for tonight's question. Since a lot of our viewers are obviously in the diaspora, this one's for you all. How'd you spend your Thanksgiving? So, I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks.